What's up, guys? It's Brian from Hashware Hub. It's about 10:27 p.m. Eastern Time, February 21st, 2018, coming to you with a trading video. Bitcoin, kind of a evening update here. But first, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, upvote, re-Steam if you guys are on Steemit or DTube. Links are down below if you're not. Also, links are down below to our Facebook trading team. And yeah, we're going to be having some giveaways soon, hopefully starting this weekend. So let's get right into it. Bitcoin, lots going on here. I started making the video, I think twice, possibly 3 times, and as more information was coming through, I decided to take a different course. Basically, I'm almost like, I do trade. I trade all the time, first of all. But second of all, as I'm doing these videos, I kind of have to take like a snippet. I have to kind of almost like hold time for a second, right? I got to take an instantaneous picture of what's going on and then tell you what I think is going on at that very point. But as time moves on, well, obviously more information comes through, and as more information comes through, I then therefore want to go ahead and update what my thoughts are. So that's really what's been going on, and so yeah, let's get right into it. Oh, one thing, I've seen some people kind of making some comments about my videos not being all that professional and stuff like that. Listen, guys, I do this stuff for free. I don't need to do this by any means. I actually don't get a single, really, any money off of this at all. Like, you can see what I make on Steemit, and most of the times it's like a penny and a half, or 6 cents, or 8 cents. I think there was a few videos there that I made like 25 bucks, or I think one of them I made like 75 bucks, which I am so freaking gracious for. Believe me, very, very gracious for that. However, if I was going to be super professional about this, I'm going to charge you probably about $500 a month minimum, and I'm going to break out every single freaking tool that I have in my chest. But the thing is, I don't have the time for that. So this is kind of like a hobby of mine. So if you don't feel like I'm doing professional at all, hey, unsubscribe and go to the next guy. I'm perfectly cool with that. So I don't know. It's my 2-second rant. Now let's get into it. So let's delete this, because we'll get to that in a second. So I'm really into channels the past few days. I don't know, maybe it's just because I love this channel tool. It's just so cool. I love it. And I've been channeling everything I possibly can. So obviously we refined this channel that we have coming up here, because why do you do that? So your charts have to be super, super accurate as they possibly could be. And the reason why I did that was because we were starting to approach here, and I wanted to see, when I'm day trading, I'm trading this stuff, right? I'm bringing this down to 15 minutes, and I want to know exactly where I feel that line is, right? As closely as possible. So that's why I clean things up as more information comes through. It's pretty much the same thing we've always been talking about. I mean, within like a few dollars, but I like to get it super, super accurate. So market came through, okay, it's been bouncing around this right here, pierced through, went back up above it again, pierced through to the downside, and now it's kind of moving its way back up again. What I'm thinking here is that, well, I'll get to that in just a second. So we have this 10,000 level right here. Okay, this 10,000 level as of right now is something that I feel like we should have hit on any type of correction. And if this is all the correction that there is, we're super, super bullish. I mean, this is like ridiculously bullish, ridiculously bullish. Let me pull up that fib retracement that I had a second ago. Yep, see, I made these shortcuts here because I do this probably 972 times a day, to be exact. And we've only right now gotten to the 0.236 retracement. That's on this entire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's assuming that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is correct. Okay, and as more information comes through, it seems to be more and more correct. Now, if this is truly the fifth wave, then this correction should be larger. It should be larger than a 0.236. It should be, 0.382. I would say at least, 50%. That would be great too. That would still be a healthy correction. Okay, where it starts becoming not really healthy is kind of like the 78.6, or I'm always thinking in terms of percentages, but 0.786 or below. Then it's really not becoming all too healthy as far as it running up and being bullish in the kind of intermediate term. That means that we're probably going to have a more of a longer protracted correction, part of this much larger correction, this larger descending wedge or descending channel that we've had. Okay, so that's what I mean by unhealthy. So yeah, so we have 0.236 right now, which is pretty much what we hit, and we moved back up. So in the event that this does not continue to come down, one of the things it possibly could be telling us is that this is really not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? It could be telling us that the 3 is really here. Okay? Because this is kind of one of the larger corrections we've had so far, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And normally, the third wave is one of the larger, the third into the fourth. In other words, the fourth wave actually itself is a larger correction than you normally have on this second wave. And so it would lead me to believe, even if it was like a tertiary or my fourth or fifth or sixth, whatever type of scenario, it would still be in the back of my head that possibly this is 3, this is 4, and 5 is all the way out here somewhere. 5 is all the way up here somewhere. So I don't believe that to be the case right now, but we could, it's something we obviously need to keep in mind. That's the first thing. The second thing is, okay, so let me delete this real quick. Yes, the 0.382 is specifically on this blue line, or almost on this blue line right here. I've called about 9,540, so somewhere around there, or 9,500. I know people get aggravated when I don't call out the actual numbers. My apologies. So, okay, so sorry. So yeah, if this really is about it, then yeah, like I said, these things could possibly change right up here. The next thing I want to show is I want to zoom in a bit, and what I want to zoom into is, okay, let's say this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Let's say that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down. And you can zoom in and you can count it all sorts of different ways. If that's a true 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then let's take a look at something real quick. Okay, it would lead me to believe that this truly is not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yet, meaning of the order of that we want it to be. That truly what we have is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth wave is going to come down somewhere to somewhere to the 10,000 level. And the reason why I think that is because this. If you do the Fibonacci extension that I just did, right? It comes from this top right here, okay, and this right here. Okay, so basically it comes from the 1 and the 2. All right. For the third wave, this has to at least hit number 1. Right? It has to at least hit number 1. So you could say, well, okay, so maybe that's not it. Maybe really this is 1, right? And then this is 2. So in other words, we have 1, 2. Let me zoom in. Okay. We have 1, 2. Right? So this is another way to go about looking at it. So then yes, then we would have heard, if this was the third wave right here, then yes, we would have gone ahead and we would have exceeded at least the first wave, which still again leads me to believe that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to have a fifth. All right. So there's many different ways to count this right here. The other way to count it is that it's just an ABC. That's it. It's a simple ABC correction. And if it's a simple ABC correction, then maybe this really is the third, and this is fourth, and then we're going to have 5. This is coming from this larger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So the next thing is we're at critical points for making a decision as to what this is and what this is not. Okay? Right now, we have this right here overlapping right here. Right? So if I'm measuring this as a 1, 2, 3, right? If you could do that. Or this is a 1, 2, right? And then we're going to have a 3. What's going to have to happen is that this here cannot go ahead and cross above here, or can't really cross above here. Now, right now we're looking at things at a pretty minute level, right? But you can have wicks covering each other, but when it comes to the whole bodies of things on a larger time period, then that means that you basically have a wave failure and you're on to something new. So that's another thing we're looking at. Okay. Next thing is that what could possibly happen next, right? So barring outside of all of what's going on here with this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up, what could this possibly be? Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is over, right? So then I would have to think that if this is a 1, 2, come on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to come down to about 10,000, right? Then this here is drawn incorrectly, this other larger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this larger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can still be something that could very well happen, part of a larger, ABC or something along those lines. So that's something we need to keep a lookout for. But I don't want to talk too much about what's going on specifically with all the possible patterns right here until we really get all of this nailed down. Okay, we really need to end this nicely. In other words, when I mean nicely, we need to end it where we know exactly what is going on. I know within reason what exactly is going on, but still I want to go ahead and really button everything up. I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to that, maybe too much so at times, but it's worked for me. I really like to keep things really orderly, understand how things have ended, because it then tells you a bit more about what's going to happen in the future. So it's one of the reasons why I like to go about doing that. So what I'd like to do is just take this one and just say it's going to end somewhere around 10,000. That's what I believe possibly could happen. Now, another thing that possibly could happen is that we just continue moving up. If we continue moving up, a lot of those other scenarios I mentioned before, again, still are in play with possibly moving things around. But I don't believe for a second that this is the correction in order for us to springboard up more. Meaning, when I mean more, I mean like, 20,000 level. I don't believe so at all. I don't believe that this is sufficient in order to go ahead and create enough of a spring foundation, or a springboard, a foundation, in order for us to really hit some great levels, especially just to get over the top of this descending wedge or descending channel. Okay, so next thing I want to show is this. And I told you I was in love with channels lately. I totally am. And I'm looking at this on a RSI basis. And what I noticed was, we have these tops coming here. And remember, this is divergence, right? There's a divergence between what's going on with these tops here on RSI and specifically what's going on right here as on the price, okay? And I also noted it was just kind of like a parallel line on the bottom. And so what I did, I took out my handy dandy trusty parallel line tool right here, parallel channel, love it. And if I could buy stock in it, I would. I drew this channel right here, and I believe it holds a lot of water. It holds a lot of water because of the fact, we have the market, or the RSI in particular, seems to be adhering to it quite closely, and especially now as well, where you see now the market's trying to peak above this RSI level right here, this bottom of this channel right here, which obviously coincides with what's going on right here. So, yeah. So there's room to run on an RSI basis, not only on our Laguerre RSI, but also on the regular RSI. Let's see what's going on with QQE. Let's not forget about our friend, the QQE. Okay. So, kind of a mixed bag, but it's on 1 hour basis. It's pretty well kind of illustrated what's going to be going on with these smaller waves. But right now it's bullish. It's bullish. Not really much more to say other than that with regards to the QQE. So what do I think is going to happen? It's very difficult to say right now at this point. My gut tells me is that we have to go ahead and we have to come down a bit more. That's just my trading gut. All that knowledge, my beard of knowledge is kind of telling me the market has to retrace more. And if it doesn't, why is it not? And if it doesn't, it's probably for a lot of the reasons that I mentioned before. Or it could be the type of thing where the market's just being, super, cute with us, and it's just going to do something really silly just to throw everybody off. And it's going to do one of these types of things where it starts running up, and it's going to get over here, and it's going to look really nice, and it's going to kind of rise up a bit more, and people are going to get into it, and then it is just going to dump. I've seen that a lot of times, in particular in the commodity industry, in the commodity markets, especially like trading things like heating oil and things of that sort. I've seen that a lot. I haven't really seen much of that here in Bitcoin, but the cryptocurrency market is becoming more and more mature as every single day goes by and every single large institution starts coming in. So we are probably going to start seeing patterns that we haven't really seen before. So with that said, I think we're going to leave it there for right now. Let's kind of see what happens overnight. It'll obviously tell us a bit more information. And happy trading. Speak to you guys soon.